Hola, buenos días. Soy Nico.
Se los dije en repetidas ocasiones, se los dije.
And today we're here to finish off another wonderful week's worth of content. Well, yes. But before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. And also, if you like this channel, make sure to check out Patreon at patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more than 200 plus exclusive videos, weekly live streams with a multifaceted panel discussing various topics. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. Now, last video's comment is kind of a key because it's going to bleed into this one. Basically, I covered the passing of Love, Light, and TV, and Jacobi basically commented saying, I understand we're not on the best of terms, but thank you for covering this man's passing with respect. This was one of my good friends, and I really appreciate that. And people were in the comments going, since when have y'all been on good terms? And I personally had to come out and say, Jacobi and I are not really on good terms, just because of the whole Castro video that I did on him, but I'm not going to be obtuse and try to villainize him in situations that don't call for it. Like, so what if he was this man's friend? That was a good man. He just passed. No one should be disrespected after they pass away if you weren't going to say it to their face. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get on to the actual video because it's going to involve Jacobi. Nico, and I need people to understand before I even talk about this is not to glaze Jacobi. This is not to praise Jacobi. This is not to be on Jacobi's good graces. And I say that because I already know, Nico, you're agreeing with Jacobi because you want to make things right. No, this is not about that. I'm not going to film with Jacobi. So just know this is nothing about work because this is more so a discussion that I feel like a lot of people could learn from, especially people trying to get into the adult industry. Nico, what do you mean? Basically, Jacobi got into it with another performer. And first and foremost, do you know how wrong you have to be for me to come online and blatantly agree with Jacobi and say, girl, y'all are acting crazy? Nico, what do you mean? Jacobi got into it with a performer named Duke and his boyfriend, Jeremy. Just to give you a little backstory, I actually know Jeremy. I'm cool with Jeremy. I have no beef with Jeremy. Jeremy and I follow each other. We talk every now and then. Nothing too crazy. I'm cool with the kid. So I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can in this situation, because in this situation, I don't believe they're right. Let me break it down to you. Basically, Jacobi got into it with a performer named Duke because they had did a collaboration. To my knowledge, it's Duke's debuting bottom scene. So, the conversation went. They agreed to meet up. Jacobi paid for the Airbnb. Jacobi did the recording and the lighting. They then did the film. Jacobi edited it and sent it over, and he said, I will promote the trailer. Feel free to retweet it so it's on your page as well. I'm going to tag you. We're going to get you some promotion. What you need to understand about what a collaboration is: two performers coming together to gain access to both of each other's audiences to network. That is what a collaboration is in any business that you are in. OnlyFans is not an exception. So in this situation, Jacobi has the much larger platform because I can't take the credit from his stacks. He has a large following. The man is popular. So if you're working with a larger creator and they're actively saying, I'm going to promote the content, there shouldn't be an issue, right? Right. Because even me, when I did my bottoming debut with Raheem Shabazz, if anything, he gave me the leg up by saying, hey, this is your debut, so I will let you have the video, I believe, a week or two exclusively on your page, and then I'll upload it on my page. So that way you get the initial traction going to you. Not gonna lie, that's a great strategy, and it floods your subscriber count, especially coming from a larger platform like Jacobi. So Jacobi did not offer that. Jacobi just simply said, I'm going to treat it like a normal collaboration and just put it out. Now, Duke found issue with that because he feels since it's his bottoming debut, he should be getting most of the revenue from it. So he said that they should split the collaboration that they did, which included all parts of Super Happy Adult Fun Time, beginning, middle, end, into two movies. One where it's just the beginning and the other where it's him actually bottoming. And he said that he should be the only one of the two to be able to sell and post the bottoming video. And Jacobi said, why would I do that? Why would I split a movie that I fully recorded, fully edited, sent to you, and you want me to promote it, but I only get the first half of the movie? Because he's trying to get traction to his page, which I understand. Because as they continue to go back and forth, people were basically telling Duke, girl, you sound crazy. Because you do. As someone, Nico, as someone that's been in the industry for at least 2 to 3 years now, nobody does that. Nico, nobody does that. And when some people were trying to gaslight Jacobi, because I saw it, people were in the comments going, oh, well, you just don't understand. Y'all should have talked about this beforehand. This isn't even a situation where you had to put the ground rules down beforehand. And I say that as somebody who has been in the industry. Nobody does that. Nobody. So I do agree, if they would have talked about how are we going to drop this beforehand, and they agreed to let Duke debut it first, that would get more traction to his page. That is fully assisting someone that is trying to get into the industry. So when Jacobi and Duke's boyfriend Jeremy began to get into it, Jeremy accused him of using new talent and trying to milk them, which in this situation, Jacobi does constantly stay in rotation because he works with the newest talent that's coming into the industry that's making any ripples, any scenes, and he collaborates with them, gives them a platform, boosts them up. That's the entire thing. But since he does debut it at the same time as them, he usually gets most of the revenue from the video. Now, the conversation could have been on who gets to debut it first, but it gets into like the ridiculous lines where you say, oh, well, I should be the only one that gets to post this half of the movie. So I do agree that they could have talked about how Jacobi could platform Duke better than just a simple retweet, trailer, and promotion that way. He could have given him access to the movie exclusively for like a week or two, which I agree would flood his revenue. But at the same time, no one splits a movie in half, tells you you have to subscribe on my page to get the first half, and then if you want the second half where we're actually doing most of the work, you have to go and subscribe to the new guy's page. Nobody does that. So I do want to be fair when I say Jacobi isn't completely in the wrong for saying, if we can't even agree on how we're going to debut the movie, let's just scrap it. Because I'm the one that booked the Airbnb, I'm the one that did the editing, I'm the one that did the lighting. Like, if I did all the work aside from the actual collaboration part, and you're telling me I can't even have full access to the movie I fully edited, girl, let's just scrap it. And I agree. Nico, because a lot of people go, oh, I don't want you to post this, I want you to post that, I don't want you to. As soon as it becomes complicated, because to be on OnlyFans, you have to sign that electric waiver. Girl, if you make a collaboration, you're signing for it to be sent out. If any misconception or accidents or, strife happens in between the recording, editing, and posting, scrap it. It's not worth the legal drama. It's not worth the social drama. So when Duke tried to come online and say, I can't believe that you wouldn't give me the movie exclusively, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, girl, he did half the work. Nico, once again, do you know how wrong you have to be for me to come online and agree with Jacobi? Because in this situation, I understand you wanted more traction to your page. I understand you felt that even after you collaborated with somebody who did all the work and effort, that you deserve to get the most money out of this because it's your first time bottoming. But that's not realistic, because Jacobi brought up how this boy apparently has issues with multiple performers that he has collaborated with and has demanded these unrealistic demands just so that he could be the breadwinner of the collaboration. And once again, I understand trying to get bang for your buck. I understand trying to make a bottoming debut with a larger performer and getting their crowd into your wallet. But at the same time, you have to understand that's not how anybody does that. Once again, if you collaborate with somebody and you want the initial revenue, definitely have the conversation of, can I post it first? Can I have exclusive rights for like a week or two? That would definitely give you a flush of income. But saying, I want to split the movie that you recorded and edited in half, and you're only allowed to post the first half, or if you don't want to do that, we can both only post the first half and we'll just scrap the rest of the movie. That's crazy to me. Especially because y'all be putting price tags behind this kind of thing. So imagine you subscribe to somebody and then they do a pay-per-view and then they say, okay, well, you pay for half the movie. If you want the other half, you got to subscribe to the other guy and then pay him half for the other half of the movie. Like, no, absolutely not. So once again, this is a conversation that could have been had prior, but I can't even in bad faith say Jacobi had to have had this conversation beforehand, because no other performer runs like that. And I will be honest, I've worked with studios, I've worked with professional performers who've been in the industry for 10 years, I've worked with new performers that's just started OnlyFans. And none of them talk about, let's split the movie in half. You post the first half, then I post the second. But definitely drop your opinions down below. I want to hear your opinions on this situation. Do you believe that it's right for the larger platform to say, we both just debut the movie and market it, whoever gets the money, whoever gets the money? Because at that point, it tends to go to the more popular and well-known performer because people will subscribe to see them. But I also see how you are getting promotion and being given visibility and numbers just by the collaboration. Because I've seen people collaborate with Jacobi and then they start to get thousands of more likes. I'm not even going to pretend like it doesn't happen. But once again, he's getting most of the revenue because they're debuting at the same time. Do you believe that bigger performers should give exclusive debut access to the smaller accounts? Because once again, that's how Raheem did my bottoming debut. And to my knowledge, when it's like a big debut scene like that, he tends to give the smaller performer the first option of posting. So that way most of the revenue goes to them. And then he begins to market it on his stuff like a week later. Of course, he's going to like retweet the trailer, but the exclusive viewing is yours for like a week or two. That's something I can at least attest for my bottoming debut and for at least 3 of my other friends, because that's just how he does it. What are your opinions on this? Do you believe that Duke was right? Do you believe that he should have only had access to release the bottoming portion of the video? Do you believe that he should have been able to get the part 2 and Jacobi gets the part 1 so that way people subscribe to both of them in a circle? Or do you think that would make customers mad? Definitely drop your opinions down below and I'll see you guys next time. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Kenneth B and Chill Will. Your continued support is greatly appreciated and thank you once again to everyone who supports the channel. I really mean it. And this week's live stream discussion is going to be another virtual hangout because child, we be having a key. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to come feel out the vibes of the Patreon, definitely check it out. And do you know how wrong you have to be to make me sit up here and blatantly